Like, I started talking to a lot more people more often now, because the devotionals was like, I don't know, I wasn't like, at first, when I first went, it wasn't as comfortable as I thought, because it might have been like more new people coming in and I just didn't feel comfortable. But, you know, but doing those things made me like talk a little bit more.
توی این مملکت وقتی وارد شدیم خب غریبه بودیم. اینجا خیلی همسایه ها با هم رفت آمدی ندارن. به این نتیجه رسیدیم که بیایم یک گروهی رو به عنوان گروه همبستگی مذاهب ایجاد کنیم. یعنی ما اومدیم کارهای داوطلبانه با شهرداری، با اداره پلیس، با اداره فایر دیپارتمنت تماس گرفتیم، گفتیم ما چجور میتونیم کمکی باشیم برای شما. یعنی الان ما این گروه همبستگی مذاهب ما در مناطق مختلف شهر فعالیت‌های مختلفی با شهرداری، با اداره پلیس و با اداره آتش نشانی داره.
We try to have it once a month. We try to encourage other friends to have it, even if it's just one person or one neighbor. We have prayer books, we have readings from not only Baha'i faith but other religions, and they usually take a prayer book and they read it. Even if they might not share out loud, but you notice that they're reading it and that they can really partake in this spiritual hour that we have.
I'm a Christian, and doing this is more bettering to get me closer with Him. From the beginning to now, it's been really life-changing. It's still life-changing now. It's still progressing. A lot of obstacles I'm still going to. A lot of doors are still opening by devotion and the prayer of this program.
Sometimes when something happens, I think that we're trying to justify whether we were right or whether we were wrong. And prayer kind of takes you to this higher level where you can accept this whole thing, and instead of judging the other person, you're focusing on your own faults, but also forgiving yourself to kind of live the best.
To be clouded its luster, let its beauty shine.
I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in a higher being, and I think if you let yourself guided by spiritual guidance and they come through prayers, I think it will affect you, whether you know it or not.
Thou art my mystery, the lover and the loved of.
I mean, being a scientist and being a physician, you believe in science, you believe in practical things. And prayer is spiritual, is different. You get a different perspective. Sometimes when my patients tell me, well, we prayed, and I said, yeah, absolutely. She said, we prayed and I felt better. I said, absolutely. The power of prayer is there. So there is a beauty of trying to bring together the science and the religion.
واقعیت وجود انسان روح اوست که از این دنیا عبور می کند تا صفاتی را که برای سفری ابدی و شکوهمند به سوی خدا لازم دارد کسب نماید. ارزشمندترین لحظات زندگی انسان لحظاتی است که در گفتگو با خدا می گذرد. زیرا دعا و مناجات غذای روزانه روح است و روح انسان اگر بخواهد به مقصد عالی خود نائل گردد باید آن را دریافت کند. بهائیان بر این باورند که در طی مطالعه آثار الهی باید بکوشند درک خود را از تعالیم افزایش داده آنها را در زندگی روزانه خود و در خدمت به جامعه به کار ببندند و با گسترش این فرهنگ به اطلاع حیات روحانی جامعه کمک کنند. آنها تشویق می شوند تا با میزبانی کردن یک جلسه دعا و مناجات در منزل خود اولین گام را در مسیر خدمت بردارند.
خیلی وقتا تاثیر این دعا و راز و نیاز خالصانه روی قلب و روح ما، روی وجود ما و حتی روی تصمیم گرفتنهای ما تأثیراتی میگذاره که انسان بعضی وقتا حتی انتظارش رو نداره ولی احساس میکنه که خیلی متفاوت هست با زمانی که یا دعا نکرده یا همینجور سرسری دعای خونده به خاطر اینکه فقط دعا خونده باشه.
To me, the purpose of the devotionals is to give you that space to feel loved, accepted, non-judged. And I think the space allows people to share their feelings and that we can all encourage and inspire one another.
Devotional Gathering really is a very wonderful space for people to get to know each other, but in a very meaningful way.
I would say it didn't happen all at once. It has taken a couple years. If I really look, all of the seeds that have been planted for years now are all blossoming and it's all coming together. And so every time people meet each other that didn't know each other before, I think that's already a huge success.
And it's, is there any remover of difficulty save God? Say, praise be God. He is God. All are his servants and all abide by his will.
توانمندی تمرکز و توجه یکی از ویژگی‌های متمایز کننده انسان است. در حقیقت پیشرفت انسان چه روحانی، چه مادی و یا اجتماعی بدون تأمل و تفکر امکان پذیر نیست. فرد از طریق تمرکز و توجه می‌تواند در مورد مسائل انتزاعی و عملی بصیرت‌های جدید و ارزشمندی کسب کند. با این وجود تأکید بیش از حد بر هر اندیشه‌ای که در هنگام تمرکز و توجه به ذهن می‌رسد نتیجه معکوس دارد. بعضی افکار همچون امواج بی‌حاصل در دریا شاید فایده کم یا ناچیزی داشته باشند، اما اگر قوه تمرکز و توجه سرشار از نور باطن و آراسته به صفات الهی باشد، نتیجه آن محقق خواهد شد.
As for being in a room full of people, if I don't know most of them and saying prayers together, I think it's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's the high ideal, really. It's how the world should be.
You can definitely see a change in the way people think and in the way that those thoughts impact their actions. I think when certain concepts become socialized, then it not only has an impact like on the individual, but it also even begins to have an impact on the entire community. So for example, you'll hear the children in the neighborhood at the school bus stop singing songs about unity. Where before, they were singing songs, but maybe they weren't about unity at all. And not only are they singing the songs about unity, but they're teaching the other children in the neighborhood who maybe haven't had a chance to come to one of our spaces yet.
When we are united, we cannot be divided. 3, 2, 1. Oh Lord God, make us as waves of the sea, as flowers of the garden. Oh Lord God, make us as waves of the sea, as flowers of the garden. Bring it down now. United, 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 united. United, united, united. Woo! United, united, agree to the values of our love. United, 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 united. What? United, united, united. Woo! United, united, agree to the values of our love. 3, 2, 1, hit it.
They're teaching them the songs and they're like, you have to learn these. You'll hear adults in the neighborhood talk about, you know, how we can contribute to the betterment of the community. Whereas before, this was not a conversation that people were having much. A lot of times the conversation was more about, you know, the things that they didn't like in the neighborhood. But now, like, the conversation has shifted not to, you know, these are the things that we don't like, but these are the things that we can do to make our community better. And I think that it's because of these devotional spaces that this shift in spirit and this shift in attitude and this shift in the way that we talk about our community has come to pass.
دعا افکارمون رو منظم میکنه، افکارمون رو تعالی میده، درها رو باز میکنه، خودمون رو چجوری ببینیم، رابطمون رو چجوری با خدا ببینیم، رابطمون رو با انسانهای دیگه ببینیم، چی از خدا بخوایم. به نظر من با مناجات‌های بهایی به ما یاد میده، میگه اینجوری بگو Oh God guide me، به من بگو خدایا هدایت نما، حفظ فرما، سراج روشن کن، وقتت هدر نکن.
با کلاس بچه‌ها، کلاس نوجوانان به وسیله جلسات روحی و دعا و مناجات، جلسات این کامیونیتی به هم نزدیک شدن. یعنی بعضی از اینا اصلا ولی اونطور رفت آمدی نداشتن و حالا با همدیگه دوست شدن، با همدیگه کمک میکنن، به همدیگه حتی فکر میکنن چجوری با کسای دیگر رو کمک بکنن.
یکی از راه‌های نزدیک شدن ما به هم دیگه، مخصوصا در محله‌ای که زندگی می‌کنیم و با همسایه‌هایی که داریم، اینی که جلسه دعا با آنها داشته باشیم. این باعث میشه که یک انس و الفت و محبتی بین ما و همسایگانمون به وجود بیاد.
دعا و مناجات، تمرکز و مراقبه و خدمت به دیگران جزئی از ذات زندگی روحانی انسان را تشکیل می‌دهد. از طریق چنین جلوه‌هایی از روح نیایش است که افراد و جوامع می‌توانند پیوند بی همتایی را که میان پروردگار عالمیان و بشر برقرار است، استحکام بخشند. همچنین آگاهی از این قوای روحانی می‌تواند محرک پیشرفت در مسیر خدمت باشد. در آثار بهایی آداب و شیوه خاصی برای توجه و تمرکز توصیه نشده، اما واضح است که صرف نظر از شکل ظاهری، این حالت مستلزم تأمل عمیق است. مطالعه روزانه متون الهی برای افراد و شرکت در جلسه دعا فرصتی برای تمرکز بر مفاهیم عمیق و تأمل در مورد نحوه بکارگیری آنها در زندگی و رفتار خود و همچنین در تلاش‌هایمان برای مشارکت در پیشرفت اجتماع فراهم می‌آورد.
I think the biggest blessing is for us, you know, for our immediate family, for the people who host, the people who have to prepare, the people who serve.
I'm so grateful my kids get to experience it. And maybe they don't get all excited about, having to clean the house every time we have a gathering, right? But also it teaches them that the whole purpose of our life is to be of service to others. I think the hosting doesn't require any skill at all, right? It just requires a little bit of love, some chai sometimes, right? But anybody can do it. You don't have to be a Baha'i to host a devotional, right? You could just invite friends and family over and say a few prayers, and you immediately know the transformative power right away, right there.
Glorious kingdom, and shower upon me thy confirmation, which alone can change the attitude of evil.
I would say there is a difference between prayer and superstition, but there also cannot be, depending on how it's used. So again, if it would be, like let's say you write a little prayer on a piece of paper and you put it in your wallet and you say, if I don't carry this piece of paper with the prayer on it with me at all times, then I'm going to get in some horrible accident. In my humble opinion, I don't consider that to be the purpose of prayer. But if we use prayer in a sense of a community coming together, communicating with what they believe to be a higher being or a god or a deity, then I would say it doesn't fall in the category of superstition anymore.
Zeuge in diesem Augenblick meine Ohnmacht und deine Macht, meine Armut und deinen Reichtum. Es gibt keinen anderen Gott außer dir, dem Helfer in Gefahr, dem Selbstbestimmt.
I think prayer would be seen as superstition if it was something we did without spiritual teachers.
تفاوت بین دعا و خرافات بسیار زیاده در دو جهت مخالف.
There is a big difference I see from prayers and superstition. Now, superstition can be rooted in the misunderstanding of what prayer is. And I think that's why maybe people who are not spiritual or do not believe in prayer and the expression of prayer would connect it to superstitious beliefs that people have connected throughout history to prayer. So we have so-called prayer for rain, or we have prayed for God giving us harvest, right? But those were also not invalid in the early days of human understanding of what prayer is. This is an ever-growing understanding of our connection to our Creator. So prayer is not static, it is dynamic. As history and humanity grows, the expression of prayer becomes more pure and it also grows. So although one can see some roots of superstition in prayer, but prayer in itself, in its most purest form, is nothing but a human's longing and natural expression of creating a connection to its creator.
نه کاملا متفاوته به شرطی که خودمون اون دعا رو تو مسیر خرافات نبریمش.
I think superstition is an irrational belief or an irrational fear. There's no connection between the act and whatever the belief is behind it. And again, prayer I think is just your way of developing your spirituality, strengthening your own inner character.